It had the characteristics of basically a Russian torpedo in terms of closing fast and coming at the submarine.
Right.
And so and in an area they wouldn't have expected it. So they did all the procedures to avoid it. They turned around, they dove deep.
A massive, fast-moving object triggers the active sonar of a U.S. Navy ship. The ping is deafening, but when the crew switches to passive listening, there's nothing but silence. No engine, no propellers, no sound at all. It's a ghost in the water, and then it's gone. This is just one of the startling pieces of evidence of deep-sea UFO activity presented by one of the Navy's most respected oceanographers. He's breaking his silence on what the military has been witnessing for years: unidentified craft operating with impunity in the darkest corners of our oceans. The oceanographer's confession. There are secrets hidden in the vast, crushing darkness of our oceans, secrets the world is not prepared to hear. But the thing nobody tells you is that sometimes the people who keep those secrets decide the silence has gone on for too long. Rear Admiral Tim Gallaudet, a man who spent his life studying the ocean for the United States Navy, has stepped forward with a revelation that rewrites our understanding of the world. This isn't some wild speculation. This is a top-ranking official, a scientist, confirming what many people have been crazy about for years. We are not alone, and the most compelling evidence isn't in the sky, it's deep underwater. The Admiral brings to light a world of unidentified submerged objects, or USOs, that have been encountered by the most advanced military on the planet. These aren't just blips on a radar, these are physical craft displaying capabilities that defy our known science. Gallaudet speaks of numerous incidents, pulling back the curtain on a reality that is both fascinating and deeply unsettling. You see, when a man of his stature speaks, people listen. He isn't just some UFO enthusiast. He was the acting Undersecretary of Commerce for Oceans and Atmosphere. He knows the data. He knows the people who saw these things firsthand. The encounters he describes are chilling. Imagine a nuclear submarine, one of our nation's ultimate guardians, rendered helpless and vulnerable by an unknown object playing a cat-and-mouse game thousands of feet beneath the waves. Picture sonar operators getting a really loud hit from something moving at incredible speeds, only for it to vanish into an impossible silence, leaving behind nothing but questions and a deep sense of unease. This isn't fiction. According to Gallaudet, this is the reality our sailors are facing. He highlights that the Office of Naval Intelligence and the National Underwater Reconnaissance Office are likely sitting on mountains of data about these UAP and USO activities. This information is so classified, so sensitive, that it's locked away under layers of national security. Why? Because these encounters aren't just about strange lights. They're about unidentified craft operating in strategic military waters, close to our carrier groups and ballistic missile submarines. The implications are staggering. We are talking about a potential intelligence that has mastered the ocean in ways we can only dream of. They can seemingly operate in water and air with equal ease, a transmedium capability that is decades, if not centuries, beyond our own. The Admiral's testimony isn't just a story. It's a wake-up call about the startling evidence of UFO activity hidden right here in our own planetary backyard. What they saw in the Atlantic was just the beginning of the nightmare. 40 feet of fear. Not all things are what they seem, especially in the deep ocean. Let's travel to the North Atlantic, a place of monstrous waves and unforgiving storms. Here, beneath 40-foot seas, a boomer submarine, a ballistic missile submarine carrying enough firepower to alter the course of human history, was on patrol. Its entire purpose is to remain invisible, a silent phantom in the depths. But on this day, it was not alone. An officer on board reported a contact closing in fast. The acoustic signature was similar to a Russian torpedo, a nightmare scenario for any submariner. The speed was terrifying, far faster than anything they expected. The submarine commander did the only thing he could. He took evasive maneuvers, diving deep into the abyss to escape the threat. But this was no ordinary torpedo. Just as it was about to make contact, the object stopped dead in the water, hovering near their stern. The crew, holding their breath in the silent, pressurized hull, could only watch their instruments in disbelief. The mysterious object then began to follow them, pacing the billion-dollar war machine as if it were a curious fish. Then, as quickly as it appeared, it rocketed away at a speed that was simply impossible, leaving the submarine and its shaken crew alone in the dark. The thing nobody tells you about this encounter is the sheer impossibility of it all. In those sea conditions, with waves the size of 4-story buildings crashing on the surface, the ambient noise was immense. The submarine was virtually undetectable. Yet this object found them. It wasn't a known Russian submersible. The technology for that kind of speed and maneuverability didn't exist then, and it arguably doesn't exist now. This was something else entirely. It demonstrated a complete mastery of the underwater environment, moving with a purpose and precision that defied all known laws of hydrodynamics. Many people are crazy about the idea that these objects could be secret military prototypes, but Admiral Gallaudet's testimony pushes back against that. This event, and others like it, suggests a technology so far advanced that it makes our best efforts look primitive. We are talking about a craft that can travel at hundreds of knots underwater without creating a cavitation bubble, an effect that should tear any normal vehicle apart. It suggests a propulsion system beyond our wildest imagination. This single encounter in the North Atlantic is a cornerstone of the evidence for UFO activity in our oceans, a chilling example of an unknown intelligence operating with impunity in highly sensitive military zones. But this silent stalker wasn't the only ghost the Navy would find, desensitized to the impossible. Sometimes the most terrifying evidence is what you don't hear. In the 2000s, near the coast of Japan, an American warship was using its high-energy, low-frequency active sonar to hunt for submarines. This technology sends out powerful pulses of sound that can travel for hundreds of miles. Suddenly, they got a return signal, a really loud hit. The acoustic intelligence specialist on board described it as deafening. Something massive and solid was out there. Standard procedure is to immediately switch to passive sonar to listen for the engines, the propellers, the telltale sounds of a submarine trying to hide. So they listened, and they heard nothing. Absolute silence. The massive object that had just screamed back at their sonar was making no engineering noise whatsoever. It was a complete contradiction. To be that big and move that fast, it had to have a propulsion system, and a propulsion system makes noise. But this thing was silent. It was a ghost. Then it was gone. Admiral Gallaudet points out that this couldn't have been a whale. A biological creature wouldn't reflect a sonar pulse with that much amplitude. It was a solid, manufactured object that moved with incredible speed and complete silence. This brings us to the now infamous USS Omaha splash incident, an event that perfectly captures the sheer strangeness of this phenomenon. Off the coast of Southern California, a major hub for naval operations, sightings of these objects became so routine that, according to Senior Chief Petty Officer Alex Wiggins, the crew became desensitized to it. Think about that for a second. The most powerful Navy on Earth, operating its most advanced warships, grew accustomed to seeing unidentified craft in their training zones. It suggests this wasn't a one-off event, but a constant, almost casual presence. During one specific incident, a dark spherical object was seen hovering just above the waves. Multiple sensors on the USS Omaha tracked it. It had no wings, no blades, no visible exhaust, and no audible sound, no visible means of propulsion at all. It just sat there, defying gravity. Then, as multiple sailors watched in a mix of awe and routine confusion, it simply dropped into the ocean and vanished. You see, the Navy has a code word for this: splash. When they log a splash on the official record, it means an object has been confirmed to have entered the water. It's not a guess, it's a documented event. What many have overlooked is the staggering technological leap this represents. This spherical UAP seamlessly transitioned from the air to the water, a feat of transmedium travel that is far beyond our capabilities. Our best jets would be torn to pieces by the impact, and our submarines certainly can't fly. This object treated the boundary between air and water as if it didn't exist, entering the ocean with purpose and control. This single, well-documented event paints a picture of a phenomenon that is persistent, widespread, and utterly baffling to our military. It shows that whatever these objects are, they have been operating in our oceans for years with impunity, demonstrating a level of technology that challenges the very laws of physics as we know them. We are only just beginning to grasp the scale of their activity. But why is this all coming out now, and what does it really mean? A flood of evidence. The thing is, the events described by Admiral Gallaudet are not isolated incidents. They are just the tip of a colossal iceberg. For every story that makes it to the public, there are hundreds, perhaps thousands, that remain locked away in classified files. We are now seeing a slow, deliberate trickle of disclosure, a managed release of information that raises more questions than it answers. The U.S. government has officially acknowledged the existence of UAPs, and the conversation is shifting from ridicule to serious national security concern. But the focus has largely been on the skies. What Gallaudet's testimony does is drag the mystery down into the crushing pressures and darkness of the deep ocean. This is where the true wow factor comes in. The ocean covers over 70% of our planet. We have better maps of Mars than we do of our own seafloor. It is, for all intents and purposes, a vast, unexplored wilderness. To an advanced intelligence, it would be the perfect place to hide, to operate, to observe. The energy requirements to travel in water are exponentially higher than in air. A craft that can move at hundreds of knots underwater, silently, is using a form of physics we do not understand. It has solved problems of pressure, friction, and energy that are still far beyond our grasp. The conversation is no longer just about if they are here, but what they are and what they want. Are they visitors from another star system using our oceans as a convenient base of operations? Or is it something far stranger? Many people are crazy about the theory that they aren't visitors at all, but have been here all along. You have to wonder, could there be an ancient, intelligent species that evolved in the crushing darkness of the abyss? A civilization that predates humanity by millions of years. It would explain their complete mastery of the aquatic environment. Maybe all our myths of Atlantis and other sunken kingdoms weren't myths, but fragmented memories of a power that resides beneath the waves. This leads to an even wilder set of questions. If they've been here all along, why the sudden increase in sightings? The evidence now points to a persistent presence, one that seems to show a keen interest in our military capabilities, particularly our nuclear assets. Many of these sightings occur near nuclear-powered submarines and aircraft carriers. Is this a sign of aggression, or is it something else? Some theories suggest these beings are not invaders, but caretakers. Perhaps they see our nuclear arsenal as a child playing with matches, and their increased presence is a sign of concern, a quiet warning not to burn the whole house down. And then there's the theory that the ocean isn't just a hiding place, but a doorway. What if the deepest trenches, places like the Mariana Trench, are not just geographic features, but are locations where the fabric of space-time is thin? Could these USOS be using underwater rifts as portals for interstellar or even interdimensional travel? It would explain their ability to appear and disappear in the blink of an eye. They aren't just flying through the water, they are emerging into our reality from somewhere else entirely. As we look at all this, talking down to earth for a moment, you have to wonder, does this all just happen overnight? Is it possible that this intelligence has been observing our technological progress, and as we get more advanced, our ability to detect them improves? We might be missing a key detail. Perhaps they aren't trying to hide as much as we think. Maybe these sightings, these near misses with our submarines, are a form of communication, a way of letting us know they are here. The truth is, we don't know. But the evidence presented by credible sources like Admiral Gallaudet is forcing us to confront a reality that is far stranger and more complex than we ever imagined. The final frontier may not be space, but the very planet we live on. The evidence is compelling, the sources are credible, and the questions are bigger than ever. Are we sharing our oceans with a hidden intelligence? Let us know what you think in the comments below. Don't forget to like this video and subscribe for more deep dives into the unknown.